Today will be a day to remember for the rest of your life. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is excited to present the heart of a Hall of Famer program connected by Extreme Networks. With over 100 Hall of Famers participating, we have reached 47 states and countries all over the world, sharing the message that football is more than a game and can teach Americans important life values like commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and honesty.
You have to make right decisions even when nobody's watching you.
Well, respect is not just given out. It's not handed out like a brochure. It's earned.
Today, you are presented with an opportunity to meet and learn from one of the greatest football players of all time. But more important than that, the chance to see that their Hall of Fame life wasn't given to them. They didn't roll out the bed great. They put the work in, on the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, in their communities. They made themselves a Hall of Famer on and off the field.
Your feet can't take you where your mind's never been.
Because you can make it, but it's just gonna take a little hard work and some effort and the drive and determination.
And today, you will learn you can do the same thing they did. You don't have to have a gold jacket or a bronze bust to make a difference in the lives of others. It's your decision whether you want to be a successful student, son, daughter, brother, or sister.
If attitudes are contagious, is your attitude worth catching?
It's integrity as well, because when you decide to pursue something and you don't quit, that says a lot about you.
Commitment to excellence. We can all aspire to be the best.
Welcome to a once-in-a-lifetime program, the heart of a Hall of Famer program, connected by Extreme Networks.
And because of them, I still hear echoes from those sounds which glorify this game. I hear the cheers of the crowd as Thurman or Andre goes hurtling into the end zone, or as Bruce sacks yet another quarterback.
What can I say about this next dude? Squatty. Thurman Thomas. From the first day you sat in one Bills drive, I instantly knew how much passion you had for the game of football. You displayed leadership beyond leadership, tenacity beyond tenacity, and the will to never quit at any cost, regardless of the situation. Did you speak your mind? Yeah, you did. Sometimes when he shouldn't have. But I always knew one thing about Thurman. He believed in what he said, and he made you listen. Whether it be good or bad, he made me a better player.
And future Hall of Famers, Thurman Thomas. I don't know where I would have been without number 34 behind me.
Thurman Thomas, known to his teammates as Squatty, you are undoubtedly the most complete running back of our era. My life would be a little less bright if I didn't have you to laugh and joke with. P.S. I hid your helmet.
And with that, welcome to another installment of our Heart of a Hall of Famer series connected by Extreme Networks. Today at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, my name is Jack Prusser. I'm the Youth Education and Leadership Coordinator here at the Hall, where it is our mission to honor the greatest of the game, preserve its history, promote its values, and to celebrate excellence together. Before I introduce our special guest today, Mr. Thurman Thomas, I would like to issue a few thank yous, and I have some opening remarks of myself. First, I need to thank our great partners, Extreme Networks, for all that they do for the Hall of Fame. allowing us to travel with this program and obviously host students today to get to hear the message from a Hall of Famer. Without their support, this program would not be possible. Secondly, teachers and administrators, I know we have quite a few in here today. Obviously, thank you for bringing your students here to the Hall to hear this message, and then those that are going to watch the program later, thank you for allowing students to watch as well. Lastly, students, we have quite a few today. I'll list out the schools here in just a moment, so when you guys hear your school call, give me a little cheer. But without you guys, it'd just be me sitting up here talking to Thurman, which I wouldn't mind, but this is your guys' opportunity to get to hear from one of 382 Pro Football Hall of Famers, one of the greatest players of all time at the running back position. So, be engaged. He's got a lot of stories for you guys, so, come prepared to ask some questions. So, as I mentioned, some schools we have in attendance today: Columbus East, Oberlin High School, Monroe High School, South, Northwestern, Garfield, Theodore Roosevelt, Newton Falls, North Middle Schools, Chagrin Falls, and Barberton. There we go. We got a packed house. With that being said, I'd like you guys just to keep your phones silent throughout the program. That way we don't have any interruptions. You guys will have time at the end of the program, get some photos and interact with Thurman as well. So with that being said, I got some stats to throw out for you guys here. 1990s All-Decade Team, 1991 NFL MVP, 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, and most importantly, Pro Football Hall of Famer. So let's give Thurman a big round of applause here, guys.
Look at you, bro. Just going here.
Thurman, welcome back to Canton.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
That's my little 34. Stand up there, dude. I like
there we
that.
Go.
Yeah, baby.
I see quite a few Bills jerseys in the crowd.
I figured we'd see some Josh Allen jerseys.
Bills Mafia's repping loud and proud. I'm done with my intro, Thurman. I want to leave some time here. You got any intro marks for our students today?
No, it's just, I'm happy you guys showed up today. I'm happy to be here. Me and my wife just got back from Santa Clara out at California, so came back Tuesday night about midnight and drove up here the next day. So a little tired, but really excited to talk to everybody today about, kind of my journey and the things, the ups and downs of, my life as not only just a professional football player, but also just a human being, and the things that I had to go through and went through, as a kid and all the way until today.
Yeah, I'm sure the weather was a little nicer in
very
in Santa
nice,
Clara.
yeah, very nice, yeah.
So,
me and my wife. Fortunately, me and my wife are golfers, so we got a chance to go out and play some golf. So yeah, it was beautiful, beautiful. Unlike here and in Buffalo. So.
Well, we're excited to have you. This program, in the intro video, talks about the values of the game. So the values, our core values at the Pro Football Hall of Fame are commitment, courage, honesty, integrity, and respect. So all great values.
Yeah.
Throughout your career, out of those, was there one that really stuck out the most or you kind of carried with you that helped you have success?
Well, I don't even know if it's in there, but like kindness has always been at the top of my list of when I was growing up. I grew up in a situation where my parents were real young when they got married and got divorced at a young age too. And so being an only child growing up, being a single parent with my mom, but my dad was always there though. My dad was always there, and my dad was the kindest person ever, right? And so the kindness that I have for people today, I think is something that's really, really important to me because, hey, we're all different, right? We all have different opinions, right? But you can always walk away from any situation by being kind, right? So, the commitment, that I had for myself and for my parents was something that I treasured for the rest of my life. Both of my parents, my dad passed away 3 years ago, and my mom passed away 2 years ago. So it was kind of back to back for my mom and dad. Within 3 years, I had lost both of my parents. And at that time, our kids were having grandkids. And so my dad and my mom never got to see their grandkids. But I can always remember like my mom was like, she was the strong one, right? My dad was kind. I could do anything around my dad and get away with it, right? Yeah. But my mom, on the other hand, you know, she was always strict and always like, you know, you have to do this, you have to do that, and this is the way that you're going to do it. Yeah. You know, the chores that I had growing up.
Holding you accountable?
Holding me accountable for everything, right? I mean, my mom, when my mom got remarried, you know, it was just the three of us, and every Friday night or every Thursday night when I got home from football practice or a game, I had to make sure I cleaned up the kitchen, you know, and my mom and dad would be out. My mom and dad would come home at 2 o'clock in the morning. If there was one plate in the sink, she'd make me clean it. She'd wake me up and have me clean it. So that was strict, you know, cutting the grass, you know, doing everything, you know, cleaning the toilets, you know. I mean, it was a strict household for me growing up. And and I think, you know, all of my kids, I have 9 kids, okay? All right, wait a minute. I got to tell you the story, right? I have 4 biological kids, and we adopted 5 other kids. So that's how I got 9. So, and my kids always, even the ones that were adopted, like the oldest was like 17, and then like 15 and 14 and 14. So they were older kids, but we knew them ever since they were little. And so, and it's tough love for me, for my kids, because that's how it was kind of for my mom growing up. And like I said, my dad was kind, but yeah, I just think like being kind can be like the number one thing that I've learned over the years. Now, in my 20s and 30s, I wasn't very kind, right? Because, you know, I was playing football, I was raising kids, and just a lot of stuff was going on. But now it's like, yeah, I just got to be kind and be cool to everybody now. I'm like,
you never know, that kindness could change somebody's life.
It could change somebody, you know, but I think for me, I don't want to try to change anybody. Yeah. Just kind of like look at it in a different way.
Right. Oh, that's great. And I have a follow-up question, but we know we have a lot of student questions too, so when we get to you guys, come up, say what school you're from, what grade you're from, and obviously your name that way. We'll get to plenty of you guys. But a follow-up to that, you talked about your mom and dad being kind of that influential factor, you know, early on, you know, growing up. Was there somebody, as you went off to college, it could still be, you know, your mom or dad, that kind of really influenced you, your motivational factor to, you know, to play football at a high level and to go to college?
It was, I would say my mom. Yeah, my mom, just kind of looking at, you know, and I think every kid, some way or some fashion, knows somebody who mom worked or dad worked just tireless, just to give them whatever, right? Just to give, and we were in that situation. And so it was always my mom. I mean, she was at every game. She washed my uniform. I mean, she was there for the team, and she was always there for everything. And I can remember, you know, getting a scholarship and going to Oklahoma State University. You know, I'm like, well, I'm 10 hours away from my mom now, so how is this relationship going to work or whatever, you know? First game, freshman year, boom, there she is up there with my stepdad, my real dad, and my stepmom. And so the guys were like, hey, where are your parents? You know, and I point up there and, you know, 4 people were raising their hand. You know, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's how they work together. You know, that's how the relationship came. So, yeah, it's been great. So, yeah.
I think everybody in this room probably has somebody that could be their mom, could be their dad. That's kind of that motivational factor for them. So, you know, having that support system, being able to lean in. And
and I think that's what it was for me. It was that support system that I had, you know, that kind of kept me motivated to, you know, to get to where I needed to be. And I think my mom was number one, and then, you know, my dad, my stepmom, my stepfather, you know, and they were, you know, always right there beside me. But I mean, I had relatives that when I was growing up that, you know, that would take me to football practice, baseball practice. You know, I mean, it wasn't just a mom-dad thing. It was my uncles, my aunties, my cousins. Everybody was, because I was like the oldest cousin, right? And I was playing sports, so everybody was like putting their hand in like taking them here and doing things, baseball, basketball, track and field. So, I mean, I had the best support system I would say of any athlete growing up. That's probably not true, but, you know, on my standpoint of how I look at it, I had a great support system, and how those things have come around to now, me and my wife are our support system of our kids.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you take that from a young age and be able to apply that later on. And students, the same message, you know, hopefully you guys can take that away and be that support system, whether it's, you know, for a sibling or a friend. We'll jump to a few student questions here because they got some good ones for you, Thurman.
My name is Leland Vargo. I go to New Falls High School, and my question to you is, how did you take the lessons you learned from playing football and apply them to your own life?
Oh, man. Well, I get along with everybody. I mean, the one thing that I think I'm really, truly, like, proud of is, like, the relationships that I've built over the years with not only just football players, but like one of my best friends is Ken Griffey Jr. I'm like, wow, Ken Griffey Jr., right? Yeah, like he's one of my best friends. You know, I've always tried to have a relationship just outside of football and basketball, Charles Barkley, you know, baseball, you know, just a number of guys, because I used to love baseball when I was growing up. And so, yeah, the relationships that I've built over the year has been very, very, very important to me. I understand that. I understand that when I was playing football, you know, having that good relationship. I think I have a great relationship with just about everybody in the National Football League, you know, and I want to keep it that way because, you know, sometimes later on down in the line, you know, a relationship could help you out in a very, very helpful way. And so the relationships that I've built is probably one of the most important things that I have going. Like, we can go to Wyoming. I guarantee you I know somebody from Wyoming there, right? North Dakota. Yeah, it's just a relationship that you had over the years that I continued to, when I was on the football field. I still have those today. You know, just being out in California, meeting some guy at a bar. All of a sudden, you know, we're exchanging numbers. You know, he's in technology, and so am I. And so just the relationships, you know, that I had while I was in the National Football League, I still continue that that good relationship with, you know, not just football players, but other people who just have just regular lives.
That's a great question.
Hello, I'm Tia, and I'm from Norton Middle School. I'm in 7th grade, and my question is, what is the most important lesson you learned while playing football?
What was that question?
Most important lesson you learned while playing football. Could have been when you started playing the game, could have been when you got into the National Football League. I'm sure you learned plenty of lessons over your span.
Oh, the lessons that I've learned. Never talk trash to somebody like Lawrence Taylor. Yeah. Lessons that I've learned, yeah. Wow, you know what? There's a lot. But I think one of the lessons that I did learn early on in my life, and when my football career was going at a peak, and even after my career has been over, try to live every day by helping someone. I think that has been kind of the important thing for me and my family. And I wouldn't say like it's a lesson, it's just something that I love doing, but it could be a lesson. Like, me and my wife, like, I can live anywhere we want to, but we still live in Buffalo, New York, you know, where the same degrees that it is out here. And so, you know, we try to do something, and we try to help people at least 3 to 4 days out of the week, like going around, going to different restaurants, meeting different people. We're involved in a lot of community stuff in Buffalo. I mean, I can sit up here and name everything that we're involved in. And it's not only just me, it's my wife and it's my kids too. And so I've really gotten to the point now where I'm getting a little older, so the things that we're doing as my wife and I want my kids to take over, and my kids have taken over. We own a construction company in Buffalo, and part of building the new Bills Stadium, along with Turner Construction and Gilbane Construction. And so my son, who was in college, hurt his knee, now he's working for the company right now. And so I have another son that's getting ready to join in the financial part. So yeah, that's just been like, for us to like continue to give back no matter what. And I got this from a guy who said it like the year that he went into the Hall of Fame is Ed Reed, former safety for the Baltimore Ravens. And I was just looking at his speech, and then all of a sudden, you know, it went to somewhere else, and then on Instagram, it like came out and said like, I try to do something for somebody every single day. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, right? And so I was just kind of like, me and my wife and kids just kind of started doing that, you know, whatever, like, oh, let's stop here and check out, see what they're doing. I mean, obviously living in Buffalo, I can probably go and knock on anybody's door and get in. So, and it's been that way. And I just, like, I'm gonna be 60 this year coming up. And I just realized, like, next year, I've been in the Hall for 20 years. I'm like, where'd those 20 years go? Where did 20 years go? It's like, and then me and my wife are like, we got to do more. We got to do more. I was like, whoa, not just yet. Yeah, let's continue the path that we're on right now, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think you hit a lot of good points and great question. I want to touch on, you talked about, you know, relationships, kindness, and I think a big thing in football, right, is we, you know, believe at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, obviously the greatest sport, football, just because of the unique talents and, you know, the amount of, I guess you rely on your teammates, right? It's not, obviously, great running back, somebody's got to hand you the ball. Right. Somebody's got to block for you. On your, you know, the Buffalo Bills, on that team you were on, you had Hall of Famers Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, Bruce Smith. Can you talk about, you know, your relationships with your teammates when you play with them? And obviously, those guys being Hall of Famers, so you obviously had to have some good form relationships to have the success on the field.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the speeches, you know, I mean, I was always mentioned by Jim and Marv and Andre Reed. You know, I took it upon myself to, you know, to build those relationships with those guys, and not only just them. You know, I know all of Jim's brothers. You know, I know Bruce's brother. I know guys. I know their families. You know, and I think when you're on a team like that, you know, we all have different personalities, and my personality was the one that kind of would, you know, I was the one that was kind of, I would take up for the team. And what I mean by that is that if I didn't like or read something some particular journalist wrote about my teammate, I would be the guy that would get on that journalist. Like, that was my job, you know, to not let anybody say anything bad about my teammates. That was it. And they knew, like when I would come into the locker room, I'd have like the newspaper sitting like right out, and there it was. So they knew that I had their back at no matter what, because I think sometimes when you think about journalists and how they write stories or whatever, they don't know what really goes into it. I mean, they're just writing a story, right? That they see that, oh, the guy threw an interception or the guy fumbled or whatever, and just take it and just run with it. Well, you don't really know what goes into that play, right? Like, you don't know the depth of it, of what we were looking for as a team to make that play successful. And they just write it and just, oh, they should have pulled him out of the game or whatever. Well, I was a guy that was taking up for my teammates 24/7, you know. I mean, and that was like my only job. Like, I was the leader of like the media criticism that we would get. I was the guy that everybody looked to, and I loved that role. You know, like, I had a role on the team with my teammates, and just like they knew I was going to fight for them. Like, and other guys had different roles too. You know, Darryl Talley, our linebacker, he was the more of the talking to everybody to get everybody focused and attention. And Jim Kelly, you know, he was the one that was, you know, Jim would curse you out, you know, especially if you're on the offensive side of the ball, you know. And so, and then we had Ken Hall, our great center, that was kind of like the guy who would calm everybody down. So you have a lot of different personalities, but, you know, just being close to my teammates was the best thing that ever happened to me. And we got like a text going that we've had going for about, I don't even know, maybe 10 years now. And you could probably write a book about some of the stuff that we've talked about over the past 10 years. So
I think that's great, and I love how you keep saying everybody kind of had a different role and different personality. I think that's something everybody can take away, right? Everybody in this room has something different that they like versus the person sitting next to them. Maybe a different personality, a different hobby, a different passion, right? But we all collectively come together, right? You guys coming together in the classroom, I'm sure working on group projects or different, you know, activities you guys are involved in. Do we have any athletes in the room? You guys throw your hand up. Yeah, so good majority athletes in the room. So you guys know what Thurman's talking about, right? I'm sure some of you are, maybe you're not going after the media yet, but it's a big thing, right?
It is a big thing. Like, I knew everything about those guys. Like, if we went over Jim Kelly's house, you know, just get ready for a night of drinking Crown Royal all night, right? You go over Bruce Smith's house, it was Jack Daniels, you know. Get over Cornelius Bennett's house, it was Coors Light. So, I mean, we all had our different, but we all knew what to expect out of that guy from where we went with him or wherever. So, I mean, it was a special group, let me tell you that right now. And I definitely learned a lot from those guys, just from them growing up and watching them, but also watching how they interact with fans and how they interact with their families. And so, I mean, it was, you know, one of them small towns in Buffalo, you know, that 24/7, it was football, football, football. And it still is. And it still is to that day, even without us ever winning a Super Bowl. I mean, it's Bills Mafia is Bills Mafia. I mean, we're gonna swim together. We're gonna drown together. I mean, that's just the way that this town goes about doing things, and it's perfect. I mean, we've had so many games now where we went to in the past couple of years on the road where we thought it was a home game. Really, I mean, just traveling with this team and Josh Allen and all those guys, just like, oh my God, it feels like a home game. And then you hear players say that, and the one thing that I love about Josh and the team that we have now, they say the same thing that we say now today, is that when we walk away, if I walk away from Jim Kelly right now, the last thing we'll say to each other is, I love you, and boom, we're gone. And so this team is doing that now. I know I got off a little subject there, but when I get to talking about the team and how it is, you know, it just reminds me that, you know, just these guys are great guys, and they're out there doing the best they possibly can.
I think you forgot to mention jump through tables together.
Yeah, we haven't done that. We haven't done that, no.
No, not yet?
No, I'm not going to do that yet, yeah.
I got one more question here I wanted to chime in on, and then we'll go back to some student questions here. So a new inductee coming in, Roger Craig, kind of that dual threat running back.
Yeah.
And, you know, Thurman, you had a great ability to obviously run the rock, but also catch the ball. But, you know, can you talk about what went into that thought of, like, the dual threat running back, being able to catch the ball, being able to kind of the do-it-all running back?
Well, you know what? Coming out of college, I played 4 years in college and had like almost 1,000 carries in 4 years, you know. And so I never really caught the ball, you know. And then I had a guy that was behind me for 2 years. You guys probably heard of him, Barry Sanders. Yeah, you heard of him, yeah. And so I knew that I could catch the ball. Just at Oklahoma State, I just never got the opportunity to do that. And once I got to the National Football League, my rookie year, didn't catch, I think I caught maybe like 19 balls or whatever. So going into my second year, we had Ronnie Harmon and Rob Riddick were the backs that were catching the ball out of the backfield or what have you. And Rob Riddick got hurt. He was older, he got hurt, and so that put me into his position. And so during training camp, you know, Jim and I used to stay after practice and go through some routes or whatever. And, you know, I knew that I could catch the ball out of the backfield or line up and, play a slot or play wide receiver. Just never got that opportunity. And once the Bills find out, they started using it. So, but so glad that Roger Craig got it. I mean, he was the guy that had the first 1,000-yard rushing, 1,000-yard receiving, and I never got to that. And I think Marshall Faulk did, and I think Christian McCaffrey are the only other guys that have gotten 1,000. So just an unbelievable guy. Obviously playing with the San Francisco 49ers with Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. Happy that he's finally getting his due to get into the National Football League. I think, and you guys will see it when he comes here. I don't even want to get into it, but you'll see it when you get here. But just glad that he was able to achieve his goal, because I think the last couple of years he probably should have been there.
Yep. Okay, we'll jump to our student questions here. Hey.
3-4, what's up?
It's got your number on.
My name is Eli Barkley. I go to Theodore Roosevelt High School. I've been a big Bills fan my whole life, and I just want to know, what does it mean to you to be considered one of the greatest running backs ever to come out of the NFL?
Well, I would never say I'm the greatest. I've always say I'm the greatest for 12 years for the Buffalo Bills. That's how I put it. I didn't even know when they were announcing that I was number 9 on the rushing list when I had even retired. But you know what, man, I would never say that I'm considered, as long as my family said, I'm good with that. I mean, when you look at all the running backs that have played this game, and the ones that are playing, I mean, you look at a guy like Derrick Henry right now, I'm like, man, I mean, I just saw him at the Madden party, and it looked like he's going to play another 10 years. I mean, the guy is just well put together and just unbelievable. So, I consider myself one of the lucky ones. Like I said, I had a knee injury coming out of college, had a partially torn ACL, and man, I knock on wood, I'm glad that I played 13 years, that this knee held up for 13 years. But that was my commitment to myself, to know that, hey, I have to work out, I have to do certain things that other guys can't do because of the partial tear of my ACL that I had. So, I mean, I couldn't play basketball. I mean, and that's how I heard it in the first place, playing basketball in college. So, I'm there, but I think, to answer your question, or I don't even know what, the greatest running back of all time, I mean, that's a loaded question. Right? I mean, it is a good one, and it's something that we can all talk about, depending on where you are. I love Emmitt Smith. He's the #1 rushing yards leader in the National Football League in the history of it. So he's there. But then you got a Barry Sanders who played 10 years and probably should have the record, right? Then you had Jim Brown before that. I mean, one of the reasons why I wear 34 is because of Walter Payton and Earl Campbell. I mean, it's just so many guys that you can say, who's the greatest running back of all time? And hey, look, if I get one mention, I'm good, right? But there's so many other great guys, man, that I just absolutely love watching. But if I had to say who's the greatest running back of all time, I think you would have to add some more words to that, like who's the most exciting, And if you put exciting in that, instead of just saying the greatest running back of all time, put exciting in that, I would say Barry Sanders. Yeah, I mean, you look at the highlights today, and you're like, how did this guy not blow a knee? Seriously, the way he ran and the way he cut. And I got to see this 2 years in a row at Oklahoma State University.
I was going to say, you were ahead of the game.
So I taught him everything he knows, So, yeah, that was me. So, yeah, I taught Barry everything. So, but if I had to pick one, and playing in that era where I was competing with Emmett and Barry, I mean, that's a difficult task to try to keep up with. I mean, Emmett having that great offensive line and Barry, just giving the ball and just let him do his thing. I mean, growing up in that era with those two guys, and then later on with like Ricky Waters, who I think should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but okay, Jerome Bettis, Marshall Faulk, and those guys, man, it was an unbelievable time where the running backs were kind of like the focal point of the offense, as to now it's kind of like the quarterback. I mean, but things do change around, right? I mean, because we got to shift back to it a little bit, because there's no more Tom Brady, there's no more Peyton Manning, there's no more Drew Brees, it's getting ready to be not anymore Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully he retired. Jeez. Yeah, but so now they're kind of going back to the running game just a little bit. So that's great to see. Yeah.
We got one more student question, so
yeah.
Go ahead and jump that way.
My name is Mo. I'm an 11th grader at Barberton High School. My question is for you. How important is it to you to have support during rough times?
Ooh, support during rough times. You talked about that earlier, but
yeah.
I guess looking at your career, was there a moment that you kind of needed that support system where maybe it was?
I needed that support system like after every Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, seriously. I mean, boy, you talk about it. So I mean, because you go once, you're like, okay, well, you went once. I mean, some guys don't go in their entire career. Barry Sanders, right? Don't go their entire career without going to a Super Bowl. So you go the second time, you're losing like, well, okay, you've lost two. So, and then all of a sudden, coaches change, players change. Like out of the 4 Super Bowls, there were only 22 guys that played in all 4 Super Bowls. 22 guys. So that means after a year or two, different guys were coming in, right? And so third one, tough. And I would probably say the fourth one was probably the toughest of them all, because I had a play in the Super Bowl where I fumbled and, oh God, I can't remember his name. Washington. Picked it up, ran for a touchdown that tied the game at 13-13 and the momentum shift. And so I think at that moment, after that 4th Super Bowl, yeah, it was really tough. Not just for me personally, but for the team too. I mean, I think for the organization, like 4. So you lose 4. You're like, okay, so you move along in your life or whatever, and you're like, I was just talking to a guy on the radio about this, he said, I don't care, if you guys, yes, you lost 4, but nobody's ever been to 4 Super Bowls in a row. It's like, yeah, it's kind of 50-50, Okay, I'll take that and run with it, right? Yeah, nobody's ever done that before. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, and that's something that you can take pride in, right? Like, I used to think I still didn't win a Super Bowl, right? But, going to 4 and going to 4 in a way that, and if you look back on all the 4 years, probably only should have went to 2. I mean, we were behind against the Houston Oilers 35-3 and came back and won that game. I have no idea how we did that, And so, and then the following year, we're playing Dan Marino in the AFC Championship game in Miami, and all the hype all week is about getting Dan Marino back to the Super Bowl, So, yeah, it was difficult to do, but some way and somehow we found a way to get it done. We found a way to get it done. And I think to answer your question, sweetie, I mean, every one of them was tough and every one of them were different. But we had a great support system with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, Ralph Wilson, everybody, even before that, Bill Polian, who was our general manager, we had a great support system. I mean, they were prepared, whether we won or whether we lost, this is what we're going to do. And the team is going to be a part of it. Yeah. They made sure that we stayed together. They made sure, like, if this was the banquet hall that we would have to be in that night after the Super Bowl, everybody was there. Everybody. If guys would not have came, I would have probably ended up calling them out like I did a journalist. But yeah, they made it a point for us to, hey, feel that pain, but we also have your back in this moment to where, it didn't go our way for a fourth time. So that support system that we had was strong, and it's still strong today. And I'll tell you a story. Years ago, when we would have the Ray Nitschke luncheon, and like everybody you'd go in and you'd sit wherever, right? Well, years ago, Jim Kelly and I was like, hey, you know what? Let's get a Bills table going here. So we got our Bills table going. Me, Bruce, Mr. Wilson, Marv Levy, who's 100, and Andre Reed, all those guys. And somebody noticed it one year and was like, man, you Buffalo Bills guys, you really love each other. I was like, yeah, that's why we, at the Ray Nitschke luncheon, that's why we sit together as a team. Where'd they get that from? It started with us. Now every team is doing it now, so it started with us. So
that's awesome.
We're proud of that.
That's a great question. I kind of want to jump in here because we have a special question submitted from, I'm going to botch the name, Manalapan High School in New Jersey. So their girls soccer team reached out. They weren't able to attend the program today, but they wanted to get a question into you, and they have a similar story.
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
I
Buffalo
saw that
Bills
on there. Yeah, okay.
Super Bowl run. So recently, they were, they started out 20-0. They were a division conference champion. Bear with me, guys. This is a little lengthy story. They were a top 5 team in their state, and unfortunately, they lost all 4 state championships consecutively. Ooh. So, and each by a kind of a crazy loss. So in 2022, they were the top seed favorite, losing on a late goal in overtime. In 2023, they lost to the same opponent the year before after beating them in the regular season and the team's 46-game conference unbeaten streak. And then in 2024, they lost on a penalty kick shootout. So the girls themselves, right? You went through that. You know what they feel embarrassed.
Yeah. I don't know about the girls part.
They really don't. They're kind of struggling how to continue to have that motivation to continue to. Obviously, you talked about the support system you had. What advice would you give to this soccer team that has that same experience as you, and just what can you tell them? Right? There's no good answer here to say this is what you guys need to do.
Yeah, there's no good answer to this, but just continue to live your life. Yeah, continue to live your life. I mean, it happened, right? Things happen in life. It shouldn't stop you from enjoying the rest of your life. I mean, we haven't been to the Super Bowl since 35, 40 years, I enjoy still talking about it. I know it's going to come up or whatever, but you know what? I enjoy talking about it. I mean, talk about everything that led up to that. You know what I'm saying? Because those are positives that led up to all those streaks of even, losing 4 in a row. Like something happened every single year that got you to that point, right? So those are the positives that we always talk about when people talk about, the 4 years that we, lost Super Bowls in a row, like even the 35-3 game, Jim Kelly wasn't even our quarterback. It was Frank Wright, I didn't play the second half. And so it became Andre Reed's coming out party game because he was like the only guy that wasn't injured. And so he had his day. And Frank Wright, like I mentioned it again, we went to Pittsburgh right after that game and won in Pittsburgh when Pittsburgh was supposed to be this up-and-coming team. We went and beat them I think it was 23-6. Neil O'Donnell, Bill Cowher was the head coach. It was kind of the uprise of the Pittsburgh Steelers at that time. And so, hey, always talk about the positive. Yeah, because everybody know the negatives, right? I mean, I go and do speeches all the time, and I don't really end up talking about the Buffalo Bills because why? Because everybody know the story, right? You know the story if you watch sports. I'm just telling you, I'll just be telling it to you in a different way from a perspective from a player, but everybody know the sport, right? I mean, let me see. Okay. I'm not going to even point to a Bill person. Let me point to all right, you. Like, who missed the field goal? Me? Yeah. You don't know? Oh, well, okay. I thought I was going to hit it on. Okay, who did? Scott Norwood, right? I mean, everybody know that, right? You should know that, right? But I guess people don't, right? So, no, I just say take away the positive, what you're doing, continue to try to win that state championship, because I know I'm a Buffalo Bills fan to the day I die, and I got to figure, like, Josh Allen is going to bring us a championship pretty soon. Like, everything cannot continue to go wrong for the Buffalo Bills, because it was a catch. It was a catch. So everything cannot go wrong for the Buffalo Bills. At some point in time, we're going to have to get it right. And you know what? All the former players that lost in those 4 Super Bowls are going to be dead right there in the center celebrating when we win a championship.
There we go. So lean into your teammates, right? Have that support system, and spin it, like, have a positive spin on it, right? The ability to get there is, I think, is huge. It's not
because
an easy
if you
feat.
don't have a positive spin on it, it's going to be downhill every time you sit up there and talk about it every single time. And just have a nice positive spin on it.
We'll jump in here back to our students. I know we get to 2 more questions from you guys here, so go ahead whenever you're ready.
Hi, my name is Lucas Pluga. I'm from Kent Roosevelt High School, and my question to you is, what was your favorite NFL moment and why?
My favorite NFL moment, getting elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's kind of my favorite moment. But I would say as a player, my favorite moment was, I would have to say it would have to be a team moment. And it was when we went to our first Super Bowl. I mean, if you follow the history of the Buffalo Bills, I mean, it wasn't very good. I mean, if you talk about the Buffalo Bills way back then, you talk about Jack Kemp being the quarterback. Probably none of you kids know who Jack Kemp is, and the late O.J. Simpson. I mean, when you talk about the Buffalo Bills, I mean, that's kind of how it was until we came along into the 90s, and, we were put right there on the map. And so, what was the question?
Favorite NFL moment. You talked about your enshrinement in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but
the Pro Football Hall of Fame. See, I'm not afraid to ask what the question was because I forget. Anyway, I would probably say from a team standpoint, it was going to our first Super Bowl and we beat the Raiders 51-3 to go to Tampa. And like I say, the history of the Buffalo Bills wasn't that great until that moment when you turned around and you saw actual fans crying after a game, knowing that they've waited so long for this to happen. And so that when we went into the locker room, some players came back out and fans were still in the stadium, like afterwards, like talking like 45 minutes afterwards. Like the stadium was kind of still full. And so we went back out and all of a sudden we saw they tore down the goalpost and carried the goalpost like up to our owner's box, Mr. Wilson, and to make sure they tore it down, but we want you to have it. Thank you so much. So the fans are like really crying. And so I would say, from a team standpoint, that was, but for me, really, just playing in the National Football League for 13 years, I mean, I could give you something that happened every single year, but probably like getting my name called on draft day to be drafted in the National Football League. All right, Joey Porter there.
I'm Aiden Whipples. I'm an 8th grade student from Norton Middle School, and my question is, what was going through your mind when you lost your helmet at the Super Bowl?
What was going on my mind? First of all, who the hell did it? still to this day, I cannot figure out what happened to my helmet that day.
Yeah. It's one of those mysteries that'll
one of those mysteries that will go down in the history of NFL sports in general. Like, it was there. So, like, let me see. Let me put an example here. Okay, Washington's kicking to Buffalo. No. Yeah, we're punting. They punted to us. And so every game, I switch up. If they were going the other way, I put it down here where the offense would be. I put it down here where the offense would be. Offense is supposed to be down there. Offense is down there. Jim Kelly's there. The offensive linemen are sitting right there on the bench that we're going to be at, And then right there, where I always put it, right on the end. Now, I do remember, like, putting it on the end, and it's next to the punter and the kicker's helmet. So they get ready to punt. I turn around and go, and it's gone. I have no idea where it got. Our equipment guy, Woody, comes from around like a speaker. And he said, here it is. I'm like, well, I know I didn't put it behind the speaker. So really, who did it? I have no idea. Well, I have no idea. I wish somebody would do something and go and look at security tapes or whatever, right? So just, get it in slow motion. I know somebody has some footage somewhere. And so, to this day, I have no idea what happened to it. So that's all I can give you. That's all I can give you. All right?
Got a few more questions before we wrap up the program here. I want to talk about your induction to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Obviously, students you don't know, there's currently 382 Pro Football Hall of Famers. So, out of the millions that played the game of football, this is a high honor. It's not an easy feat, as I'm sure you're aware, and others that are getting inducted know. Can you talk a little about what what the feelings were like going in when you're giving your enshrinement speech? You guys saw the clip out at the beginning. And I want to talk about, too, was there a Hall of Famer that congratulated you when you got the nod? Hey, Thurman, you're getting inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Did you get anybody that reached out to you?
Just my teammates.
Yeah.
Jim was the first one they called. Jim Kelly was the first one they called. They don't have the knock that you see today. It was basically a phone call. It was a phone call because you get the call from the representative that represents you in that city. And at that time, mine was, it wasn't Vic Carucci. He was doing it now for the Buffalo Bills. 20 years ago, I can't remember the guy's name. But he called and alerted me, like, you've been picked for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And, like, even before I can hang up, my mom was coming, because I took the call outside the hotel that we were at. My mom was coming down at the hotel, coming down the walkway. You made it, you made it, you made it. I'm like, how did she find out? Like right around the time that I found out. It was a surreal moment. I mean, it was, it just made me just kind of believe, like, all the hard work that I put in over, playing 13 years in the National Football League, 4 years of college, 4 years of high school, and because I didn't start playing football until like 7th grade. And so I thought I was going to be a major league shortstop for the New York Yankees. That moment you realize that, the Super Bowls didn't matter, but, the hard work and the determination that you had over the years and the support system that you had over the years, you had finally made it to the top and payoff to, where your heroes were. And like I said earlier, my heroes were, Walter Payton and Earl Campbell. But, when I got to the pro football, like my first year, the first person that I ran into, like when you get here, was Jim Brown, right? And so I made it from 2007 to the day that he passed. Like when I came to the Hall of Fame, Jim Brown was the first person that I looked for. I mean, I would walk by Hall of Famers just to get to Jim Brown, because he was like the first person that welcomed me into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I was like, oh my God,
what a surreal moment.
What a surreal moment, right? Jim Brown, like, who people consider the greatest running back of all time, and rightfully so. You know, so, and played 9 years, 12,000 yards, became a movie star, you know, and all that. I mean, it's Jim Brown, you know, and so, yeah, it was, man, I still, you know, I even got my speech framed, you know, of what I was talking about, you know, so it was special.
Yeah, and now you guys, you mentioned Jim Brown and Walter Payton, now you guys are all on the same team, being the Pro Football Hall of Famers, right? It's a team you can't get cut from,
team you can't get cut from or traded from, you know, and let me tell you, it's a great honor to be involved, you know, with the Pro Football Hall of Fame and with all these players that we've been talking about, that I've been talking about today, and you know, and just seeing some of, you know, the older guys that are here and really the younger class that is coming in. I mean, this year is an excellent class, you know, and Drew Brees has been a friend of mine. I met Drew Brees when I was going into the Texas High School Hall of Fame. He was still in high school. And I met him at this event and followed his career all the way until today. I mean, full circle moment. Yeah, and, you know, his wife Britt, you know, all the kids that they have, man, it's you know, it's great to see that he got in. But also with the other guys, you talk about Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, guy having an absolute fantastic career, and you can probably only name one quarterback that he ever played with, and that was Kurt Warner, right? And I can't even remember who else, but to put up those numbers that he put up, and it was awesome. And Adam and Luke, and I'm missing one. Roger Craig, yeah, Roger Craig. I mean, it's a fantastic group of guys that are going in this year at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, and you know, we hope you make the trip back to Canton this
Oh yeah, I've only missed twice, and once I was sick, and the other time I remember, because he always tell me this all the time, is I miss Emmitt Smith going in, but he let me off the hook because at the same time my daughter was graduating from the University of Florida. So, and that's where he went to school. So he was like, okay, you're good. So yeah, I've only missed 2 in almost 20 years. So, but it's one of those deals where, you know what, you want to come back, you want to see the players, and you want to see the volunteers. I mean, because they're a big part of this entire weekend for the players and their families and their friends. So, yeah, it's something that I'll keep coming back as long as I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We love having you back. As we've been talking for about 45 minutes now, Thurman, and we always like to end the program on this last question here. It might be a little hard one here.
Okay.
So we talked about some good message today, right? We talked about relationships, talked about kindness, accountability. But if you just met these students right now and you had to leave them with one piece of advice or one message you want to leave them that they hope they could take away and, you know, apply to their lives, what would you give them?
Ooh, it's a scary world out there. No. No, I like, what do you, like, I'm just picking you out tonight. Like, what do you want to do?
I want to do something in sports for sure.
Okay, sports it. What do you want to do after that? If it's not sports?
I don't really know.
See, there you go right there. You're only stuck on one thing. Have 3 and 4 things that you might want to accomplish in life, right? Because, like, for me, if I wasn't going to make it in the National Football League or play sports, those uncles that I talked about, they were all in trades. Electricians, plumbers, HVAC. Yeah, it may not sound pretty, but, you know, when you have, like, multiple blocks of houses that you're doing, it adds up. So that's what I was going to do, right? Yeah, but I had a third plan too, like my dad and my stepdad, Greyhound and UPS, FedEx truck. I had 3 things that I wanted to do growing up. Like, I had a plan. Obviously this was the one that I really wanted and achieved that, but I had backup plans for, growing up, we had family businesses, right? And so I was going to be part of the family business, whether it was the HVAC, the trades, or whatever. End up talking about the trades or whatever. Eventually, I own a construction company. So, that worked out perfectly. But I've always said to people, man, do not get stuck on one thing. Like, I hated that my son decided that he was going to play baseball only. He played football. Then he got to a certain point where he thought, like, baseball is it. That's what I want to do. I wanted him to still run track. I wanted him to still play football, but he didn't. I was like, okay, well, that's fine, whatever. But having 3 different choices or 4 different choices in life is better than just having that one, because that expectation for that one might not happen. The expectation for that one might not happen. So always have like a fallback plan on what you want to do in life. I mean, look, and there's so many things out there for you kids to do today. I mean, I didn't have the tools that you guys had today, right? I mean, you can go and you might hit it off on a YouTube TV channel or something like that. I have no idea, right? We didn't have that, So you have more opportunities out there right now for you, and just go for them. I mean, it might be something that you might not want to do, and all of a sudden you do it, you might like it. You might like it, right? So don't limit your choices in life. Don't limit your choices in life. Like I said, I own a construction company now, but also own a tech company too. I thought for a million years I'd never be in tech, but I'm involved with it now, and so yeah, I got the family working in the tech business and the construction business, but don't limit yourself in life, man. It's something, you're going to find something out there that's going to make you happy. Find something out there that's going to make you happy.
I'll tell you, that's a round of applause right there. Well, I don't have much to add to that because I think that's great, right? I like how you said have options, right? You never know how life will pan out. You could go on to, if you guys play sports, you could go on to play at the high level, but having options and, finding stuff that you guys, can enjoy doing and you have passions about, and you'll find new passions. It's just how the way life goes, and you mentioned it, you got into tech, you never knew, hey, that was a route I could go or something that could develop that way.
Right.
So first off, thank you, Thurman, again, for coming back to Canton and taking your time to speak to these students today. With that, let's give Thurman one more big round of applause here.
Thank you.
We'll have some time for you guys to get some photos with Thurman, but thank you guys. This will wrap this installment of the Heart of a Hall of Famer series. Thank you.
Thank you.